with my love and respects. Let me take few minutes to introduce this great book, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and today's subject to all of you. From this book, all yogic traditions originated. I can say not only all yogic tradition, almost all religions are influenced directly or indirectly from these sacred and secret teachings. Maybe 5,000 years old, these teachings are from a great master Patanjali, who lived in a place called Chidambaram in South India, in Tamil Nadu, and left the body in a place called Rameshwaram in South India. Just in few words, in few sutras, he is trying to explain all the great truths. Just in seed form, he is sharing all the great truths with us. Patanjali is talking about 5 different modifications of the mind which can lead either to pain or joy inside us. 5 different modifications. 1, right knowledge. 2, wrong knowledge. 3, imagination or fantasy. 4, please understand, each subject is taking us one by one, step by step, subtle and subtler. Subtler and subtler is taking us to deeper zones. Right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination and sleep and memory. These are the 5 modifications of the mind. Right knowledge. With right knowledge, you don't need to work on it. If you just allow it to be there, it will lead you to joy. With wrong knowledge, you need to work on the content. You need to change the direction. With fantasy, not just changing the direction, you have to completely change the very content itself. Sleep, not only content, even the container has to be changed. Is taking us to deeper layers. 5th is memory. Today we will see the 5th modification, memory. Patanjali is helping us how to use each modification to achieve joy, more and more bliss, more and more freedom, more and more ecstasy. See, all these 5 modifications can lead to suffering or joy, depending on us. Right knowledge, wrong knowledge, imagination, sleep, memory. These are the 5 modifications of the mind. If you don't know how to use them, it can lead to suffering. If you know how to use them, it can lead to joy. It is just intelligence. It is just intelligence, how you use it. These 5 modifications, either it can bring pain, suffering and disturbance, or it can lead us to joy, bliss and fulfillment. How you live with it, how you handle it, how you behave, how you go through the whole situation. Today we will see about memory, the last part. Let's enter into the sutra. What Patanjali has to do, the Patanjali's idea about memory. Anubhuta Vishaya asampramosha smrutihi anubhuta vishaya asampramosha smritihi, recall of mental impressions of past events from the subconscious mind is memory. The memory can lead either to suffering or to joy in our day-to-day life. How we use it, how we relate with it, how we connect with it, how we respond to it. The memory is responsible for your spontaneity, decision making. I can say anything available to you in the outer world, memory is responsible. Whether your medicines or research and development done in all the fields of the outer world, it's because of memory. And the same way, all sufferings, all psychological disorders. In Sanskrit, we have a beautiful word, bhava roga, means the birth itself is a disease. Including the disease of birth. For everything, this memory is responsible. This memory is responsible for all the joys, all the things which you enjoy in the outer world. Same way, the same memory is responsible for all the sufferings you go through in the inner world. One more thing you need to understand. Memory is responsible for all the joys you experience in the outer world. And not using the memory is responsible for all the sufferings you go through in the outer world. Same way, all the disturbances you go through in the inside is because of constant using of memory. All the joy you will experience inside if you are away from memory. Please understand the paradox. In the outer world, using memory brings comforts, luxury, things you need. But not using memory brings suffering, absent-mindedness, disturbance. In the inner world, using memory brings all kinds of problems. Relaxing from memory brings tremendous joy and peace. In Sanskrit, we have a beautiful word, throbhava, means hiding, making you forget. This is described as one of the actions of God. Making you forget is supposed to be one of the actions of God. God is doing 5 actions. 1, creation and sustaining and destroying, making you forget and giving you enlightenment. You may think, why God should do the act of making me forget things? Why should He take away memory from me? I can say there are 3 levels of memories. The files which you have on your table, which you handle every day. You know who is your wife, who is your son, who is your daughter, who is your mother, and who is your boss. The relationships which you maintain, the place where you live, the files which are directly connected to your day-to-day routine. There are memories which are in the cupboard, inside your office, which are in your cupboard. If you want, you can retrieve them. It's like the friends with whom you spent your time 10 years before, or the vacation which you went 5 years before. If you want, you can bring them, but it will not be continuously available on the table. That's the second kind of memory. The third, which is in archives room, you can't access without a special key meditation techniques. That's a past birth. Once the load becomes too much on the table, there is automatic system to move the files automatically to the archives room. That is what we call throbhava. Reducing the load on your consciousness. The recall of mental impressions of past events from the subconscious mind is memory. I can say this is a source of all good things and bad things. All scientific research can happen only based on memory. Only based on memory. You need a memory to do all the analysis and see the result and do further research and development and see the result and see the further research and development and see the result. For all research and development, whether it is in the medical field or in the field of construction or in the field of flying or in the field of administration or in the field of execution, any field it may be, the memory is a base. The more memory you store it and make it available for you, you are a leader. That's all. Leader is a person who can handle large quantity of memory with a very sharp quality of presence. Sometimes people have large quantity of memory, but they can't retrieve with a sharp quality. Sometimes people have a sharp quality of retrieving, but they don't have large quantity. I can say memory is responsible for what you are remembering or forgetting. Both may be, but memory, smrutihi, what Patanjali calls as smrutihi, is responsible for what you are, how you are talking, how you are behaving, the way you are behaving, how you are living, the way you are living, why you are living, the way you are living. For everything, how you are behaving, why you are behaving, the way you are behaving, for everything, memory is responsible. If it is used properly, if it is retrieved properly, if it is lived properly, it brings so much of joy, comfort. I can say this is the definition of leader. Leader is a person who can retrieve, who has access to large quantity of memory with a sharp quality of remembrance. The difference between you and the other person, difference between doctor and a lawyer, lawyer and an engineer, engineer and an accountant, is only memory, nothing else. Who you are, what you are, why you are, is all because of memory. Memory. Sometimes we think repeating is memory. No. Repeating is not smriti. Please understand. Remembrance and handling. Handling is more important. Solutions can never be memorized and repeated. It has to be spontaneous. Many times people get into trouble by trying to repeat or reenact other solutions. The memory, I can say, the best way to use the memory is, when it comes to outer world, use it more and more and more. When it comes to inner world, unclutch from it more and more and more. This is the sutra, this is the rule, this is the thumb rule. When it comes to outer world, use it more and more and more. When it comes to inner world, unclutch from it more and more and more. When you unclutch from the memory, relax from the memories, in the inner world, the tremendous energy of spontaneity, responding to a situation spontaneously, being in the present will start happening. Please understand, sometimes too much being dependent on memory, we become sterile, dead. The life is lost. The so-called education, the education which happens to you, please understand, I am using the word happens to you because I feel sometimes it is an accident. I feel so fortunate. I did not go to proper school. I could retain my intelligence. No, really. Even the people who don't accept the ideas I am teaching, they are surprised by my memory and ability to recall things and present it properly. Even my distractors, they accept one thing non-controversially, my amazing intelligence and memory. I tell them, all because I did not go to proper school, that your regular college, that regular university. I kept myself out of it. Constantly, we are struggling, we are suffering with memory. When it comes to outer world, knowing how to handle more and more. When it comes to inner world, knowing how to unclutch more and more. I can say from my own experience, the more you unclutch, more memories are available to you without disturbance. Please understand. You need to understand deeper truths of memory. Real deeper truths of memory, because unable to handle memory not only creates problems in the young age, it creates too difficult, complicated problems in the old age. In the old age, you are filled with too many memories. That is why whenever you sit with an elderly person, he starts, in 1962 when I was in army. You can't help. Because he is loaded with it. His inner space is filled with it. What else he can do? And it is overflowing. Unfortunately, nobody is there to listen. You don't know how to handle. You don't know what is going on inside. Another one big important thing we need to understand. Some memories, when it comes up, the hurt or the pain, suffering is so much, you strongly, subconsciously decide not to remember memories, not to remember the things. When you again and again subconsciously decide to forget things, you land in Alzheimer's. Please understand, Alzheimer's is very closely connected. Your strong subconscious decision to forget things. It's a very complicated phenomena, memory. That is why Patanjali handles this in a beautiful sutra. He goes on speaking about this memory even further in the next few sutras. Not immediately, in different chapters. In different chapters, he speaks about memory. He explains how to handle. The other day, one university professor was telling me, Swamiji, it takes 3 hours for me to prepare 45 minutes this lecture. And after that, I am always stressed when I am presenting that lecture to my students, whether I am remembering all the points or not. But how come you are so casual, free, wherever you go? He attended some of my discourses. Wherever you go, I am seeing you are just constantly expressing for hours together. How is it happening? I told him, fortunately, I don't remember things. That is the truth. Fortunately, I learned the technique of unclutching. Please understand, when you learn the technique of unclutching, the quantity of memory available to you, the quality to retrieve, both are just, I can say, increased, not few persons, not in the percentage level. It just explodes, maybe few 100 times. If you understand this science, you will understand much deeply what I am trying to express. See, what is high resolution picture? Inside your hard disk, the pictures which are too much affecting you, disturbing you emotionally, which are stored inside you with a lot of emotional connections. That is what is high resolution picture. High resolution picture means which are taking too much of your inner space. For example, your relationships. Even remembering once a strong emotional connection, love or hatred. So much of your inner space is occupied by that person's picture. The moment you remember the person, you can see 1,000 thoughts about that person will come up. Whether love or hatred, 1,000 thoughts will come up. Means high resolution picture. If you can store files without emotional attachment, the ability to store and ability to retrieve both are tremendously increased. That is what I am saying. If you can constantly unclutch from memories, everything is converted into a Word document. All high-res pictures are in the form of Word document. If you are constantly clutched, even Word documents become high-resolution pictures. Even Word document becomes high-resolution picture. Your hard disk is full just with few documents. See your life. That is what is happening. If you have lot of clutched memories, even little memory is enough to bring pain, suffering, torture to your life. The next sutra, beautifully Patanjali explains. Very powerful sutra. The next sutra is about the solution. Relaxing from these thought patterns through constant and intensive practice of unclutching. Please understand, constant and intensive. That is what Patanjali gives as a solution. First, I want you to understand all the problems created by memory. How remembrance creates, the memory creates good things in the outer world and how it creates bad things in the inner world. Sometimes people ask me, if we don't remember anything in the inner world, how are we going to maintain our relationships? How are we going to maintain our life? How are we going to live our life? Please understand. If you actually unclutch more and more from the memories inside, the essence, juice of those memories will become part of you. Many times, You don't want to look into the past incidents or mistakes face to face because it creates so much of pain. Then you try to remember that incident, but unconsciously you are trying to forget the same incident. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. One part of you want to remember the incident so that you will not do the same mistake. The other part of your mind says it doesn't want to remember the incident. So in that struggle you are caught. That is what I call split personality. Split personality is a person who is suffering with his memory. One part of him wants to remember the memory. The other part of him does not want to remember the same memory. Please understand. When you remember the incident itself, you may not be able to update yourself because the incident itself may have joy or memory, joy or pain associated with it. If it is joy, you will start rejoicing. You will just start mentally fantasizing. For example, the vacation which you had with your girlfriend, you may start mentally fantasizing. Sometimes memories are nightmarish. The vacation which you had with your family. So you don't even want to remember. You don't even want to remember. So whether you want, even if you remember with joy or remember with pain, it is not going to add to you. But unclutching, please understand, unclutching from both memories is going to add juice to you. It is going to add juice to you. Each memory, when you unclutch from it, when you relax from it, what needs to happen automatically happens inside you. The classification automatically happens inside you. So unclutching, please understand, if you want to remember something, all you need to do is just for a few moments unclutch. Your whole hands, you will apply consciousness, means oil, and you will open the jackfruit, you will not be stuck. You will retrieve the right file rightly without getting affected by it, without getting attached to it, without bringing suffering by it. If you are not unclutched, if you are clutched, any simple memory can lead to more and more suffering, more and more torture, more and more disturbance and distraction. Understand? Many times, being absent-minded, we think as unclutching. No, that is not solution. You may get used to be there, but that is not going to be solution. Being above mind, unclutching will put you above the mind. Unclutching will put you above the mind. With unclutching, two things will happen. You will remember whatever need to remember, and you will be able to forget whatever need not be remembered. The big problem with our life, very big problem with our life is whenever solution is told, one part of you feel good, yes, great solution. One part of you says, no, I don't think it is going to work out for me. I don't think it is going to work out for me. We always have this confusion. If you have the confusion, it may not work out for me. Just experiment for next few days. All I am asking you is experiment with this idea of next 10 days. Constantly try to unclutch. Try to unclutch. Surely, next 10 days, within 10 days, your life will not become a mess. Experiment. And we have already created a big mess. We have created a big mess. Nothing more can be done in just 10 days. You don't need to bother so much. Just experiment with 10 days with this simple truth. Constantly trying to unclutch. Unclutch means not connecting with your memory. Not connecting with your memory. Whenever thoughts rise, remember to unclutch and relax. Remember to unclutch and relax. Then naturally your mind will say, I am unclutching, unclutching, unclutching. Unclutch from that idea also. And relax. You may say, then what should I do? Unclutch from that idea also. You may feel bored. Unclutch from that idea. Again and again come back to the silence which is inside you. First time when you unclutch, 2 minutes, 2 seconds you may be silent. Then again a thought will rise. Again unclutch. Then 3-4 seconds you may be silent. Again a thought will rise. Again unclutch. Then few more seconds you may be silent. Again unclutch. Can you be seated? Please, can you? Again unclutch. Again there will be few more seconds of gap. Understand? By more and more time you unclutch, the number of times you are unclutching is increased. The gap between the thoughts will increase. After 25-30 times of unclutching, suddenly you will see the gap between one thought and the other thought will become 10-20 seconds. Relax into that gaps is what I call living enlightenment. Living enlightenment. Relaxing into that gap. Resting into that gap. Living inside that gap. Not being affected by the memory. Not being disturbed by the memory. Not being disturbed by the good news and the bad news which is brought to your inner space. See, your inner space is such, constantly your memory tells some good news and bad news. That's your life. Your life is nothing but a chain of good news and bad news you receive from your memory. Nothing else. So unclutch from your good news and bad news. The good news and bad news which constantly comes up, unclutch from it. I have a story about this good news and bad news. A painter got a call from the gallery that was showing his work. The gallery owner said, I have a good news and bad news. The painter says, first tell me the good news. The gallery owner says, a fellow came in this morning and asked if your work is the kind of that would increase in value after the artist's death. There are some paintings. After artists die, the value will increase. The gallery owner said yes, and that guy bought all 15 paintings. This painter asked, then what else can be the bad news? This is such a good news. The gallery owner says, he is your doctor. Constantly, good news and bad news is told to you by your memory. Unclutch. Next 11 days try. Try to unclutch from this good news and bad news. See what happens to your system. See the intelligence awakening in your system. You will see the ultimate intelligence gets awakened in your system. The ultimate pure energy starts flowing inside your inner consciousness. Understand the sutra, the essence of Patanjali. I am giving you the essence of whatever I expressed. Anubhuta Vishaya Asampramosha Smritihi. Anubhuta Vishaya Asampramosha Smritihi. Please understand. The recall of mental impressions of past events from the subconscious mind is memory. He already explained in the previous sutras. This can lead to pain or joy. So, memory, when it is used in the outer world, can bring more and more joy and comforts. If you unclutch from the inner world, it can bring more and more peace and bliss in the inner world. So, learn more and more unclutching. You will be able to remember better and better way and in a right way. That is what Buddha calls right remembrance. Right remembrance. Let you all have right remembrance and radiate living enlightenment. Let you all be Jivan Muktas. Let you all have right remembrance and live Jivan Mukti. Let you all achieve and radiate eternal bliss, Nityananda. Thank you.